Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourself in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours, and welcome to another exciting installment of Darkness in Dublin, where Kim has decided to be a squirt bottle.
I told you to wait so I could put my overlay up, but you were like, I'm pressing the button. And I was like, okay, fine.
Because I wish to catch you as a squirt bottle.
Whatever. I gotta go reply to it.
This evening's scene will be set outside the. This evening's scene will be set outside the not the changeling. I was going to say the changeling, the mage hangout of Agrabah Knights. Several individuals will be gathered outside as the doors are closed shortly before the club itself is due to open, and we will gather outside as they themselves are waiting. You may intro in any order you choose. I need to go and get a drink, so I'll be back in a few moments. By all means, continue.
So, where is this again?
Agrabah Knights.
It's the Tastani,
outside of Agrabah Knights. Sorry, I'm still in the room. I'll be gone there.
So I imagine Jewel would be standing outside waiting. She's probably got a paperback in her hands. It's a little worn and weathered, and it is in Japanese. But the cover makes it look like it's probably either a novel or maybe nonfiction of some sort.
So a book?
Yes.
Because a novel or nonfiction covers pretty much everything.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could be an instruction manual. That was a joke. That clearly.
Well, I mean, it could be an instruction manual for something.
Yes.
All right then.
Rory is
Never
playing
mind.
guitar on the corner. There you go.
Okay then. A silver 570 GT will pull up nearby, and Roris will get on a skateboard and start heading over to Agrabah Knights with his backpack and his laptop case on his back. He'll spot Jade outside and Jewel. He'll spot Jewel outside and will step off his skateboard, popping it up and catching it in one hand. Say, "Good evening. How are you tonight, Jewel?"
Oh, Roris, I'm doing well. And yourself?
I could not be better, thank you. Have you seen anybody running around shouting about religious things?
No, I have not. At least
That is
not
good.
tonight.
That's good. That's good. So I guess if you want to show up now, Zach.
I want to. I'm in that kind of mood where if it wasn't Zach, my character would be coming in like on some roller skates or something. But Zach doesn't do that, so he'll just kind of walk up, being Zach. I don't know. He's there. Okay.
All right. Hey guys. Okay. It is at this moment that, for the record, it's about.
Hey, Evan, we haven't all introed yet.
Yeah, we have.
No, we haven't. I didn't hear Sam intro, and Zach was just about to.
Oh. I thought Sam was just like, I'm sorry. Sam said he was playing his guitar and just off to the side, and Zach was just like, Zach is there. So
Okay.
Yeah.
So, it's about 10 o'clock in the evening. Agrabah Nights doesn't generally open till later on in the evening. It styles itself as a nightclub. It's really not, but this evening the doors will be open in about 15 minutes. So there's still traffic on the road because Agrabah Nights fronts another street that seems to be dominated by brownstone housing and other kind of older establishments. Because you must remember, the Agrabah Nights itself was originally the Griffith Club, a club that itself traced its lineage back to the 1890s. But on the opposite side of the road, you will see this girl kind of looking at you with incredibly large eyes, and she'll walk out into the road as a car is careening at her. She walks out in front of a speeding car.
How quickly can I leap forward to get her out of the way? Or try to get her out of the way.
She is on the other side of the road, so she is conservatively about 25 feet away.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Which means
So-
pace speed, we can get to her in time.
Mm-hmm. However, you would also risk being hit by a car.
That's something that Jewel is very okay with.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. In that case, would you please make anyone who wishes to try and intercede? Would you please make me a Dex Athletics roll? Difficulty
I'll need
7.
somebody to roll for me because I don't have Discord on this computer.
I will roll for you.
All right.
I don't have
it's
Discord,
Dex
but I have-
Athletics. I have
What was
6
that?
dice on Dex Athletics.
Okay, let's see how this one goes.
Hey, Evan.
Yeah.
So since I see, the other people running after little Chica here, could I use forces to just kind of give them that extra oof, like a little gust of wind to push them forward?
Give
So-
me just a second.
To do
Does
that?
Roros have any applicable Dex specialty?
Unless hand-eye coordination would apply, no.
It does not, unfortunately.
I mean, considering his method of attack, hand-eye coordination fits. So yeah.
All right, so you have 4. You have 3. Jade has, Heather has 4. So, all right.
Rory has 2.
Okay, Rory, you'll be slightly slower than the other 2. What will happen is, and to answer your question, yes, if you wanted to, Kim, you could try and give them an oomph.
Okay.
Mala, 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 oomph. It's a forces 2 effect to magnify someone's speed, so you will require 2 successes plus at least 1 success to kick off the effect, plus whatever you wish to put in duration, unless you choose to magnify their effect by more speed, which would be another additional 2 successes on top of the original 2 successes. These rules.
Okay. I'm gonna just spend the willpower. There we go. Yeah.
You get paid.
Yep, there we go. It's a good thing I did. Oh my god, I forgot I changed my nickname in there to It's Brittany, bitch.
Why did you change it to it? Okay. You're the hottest thing since Britney, bitch. Anyway, moving on. Right, so who do you wish to give the extra oomph to? Jewel, who is in the lead, Roros, who is slightly behind her, or Rory, who seems to be taking up the rear? Oomph.
Jade will probably be able to make it.
All right, also, Zach, please give me a point of power.
That's fine.
Okay. Jewel, in that case, you feel essentially as though your velocity has increased.
Wait, no, because Jewel looked like she was gonna make it herself. The other two chuckle people were probably gonna run into the car.
You're not wrong. So who do you wish to prevent being impacted by the car?
Roros might not make it. Rory's probably right there to get hit, so I guess he's gonna just kind of push Rory then.
All right.
Well, I see how it is. Save the white guy.
What does Roars look like?
He's Middle Eastern.
He was born and raised in Abu Dhabi. He's from what's the name of that
United
sound?
Arab Emirates.
God. He's from Dubai.
Oh, he's from, okay. So
Do I need to pull up the fucking MS Paint like I did for that changeling scene? Because okay, the way I'm looking at this here, Jules gonna make it. Rory's in the middle, so he's gonna probably get hit with the car, and you're too slow to even get hit by the car.
I'm at 3 successes. Rory's at 2.
No, I'm the one in the rear.
Oh. Then we're gonna switch
but
that up,
between-
because the fucking R's got me all mixed up. They sound exactly the same, and I'm tired.
There's Roris and Rory. Okay, that's fair. All right, so Jewel,
Exactly.
you will reach the girl. What do you do?
Okay. I'm gonna scoop her up and keep running.
What is your strength?
Oh, Lordy. What is my strength? 3.
Okay. You are casting. Okay, you go to lift, and you're like, holy shit. She is way. As in, when I say you were unable to lift her, I'm looking at the strength chart. You are physically. She should not weigh this much based on her height. It's impossible.
Okay then. Well, can't pick her up. Is the car? We're not safely out of the path of the car yet.
No.
Oh.
The girl will grab Jewel by the shoulders and will spin her around so that so basically the girl's back is facing the car and Jewel is in front of her.
Yeah, that's still not okay. Ay. I'm trying to figure out if I could flip. Is there heavy traffic on the road, Evan?
No, this is the only car that's coming. Unfortunately, it has now reached the point where it is attempting to brake and swerve, but it does not have enough time or leeway to do it.
All right. Okay, yeah, we're gonna stay there, huddled in the street, and hope for the best. Because
all right,
flipping this car backwards with forces does not seem like a good plan of action, even though it's not going to cause a lot of casualty.
Do we have time to do magic? Like Roris and Rory?
Nope. In theory, you could have. In the basically, I gave you essentially a round's leeway. You choose to try and basically run at the problem.
Okay.
The car impacts the girl as she's standing in front of you, Jewel, and splinters in off her and does not move her an inch. However, it looks as though the car just hit solid stone as the engine, Evan does not do cars well, as the front bumper is smashed inwards as it impacts, and the entire front chassis is bent backwards. The driver is sent caterwauling through the window about a good 5 or 6 feet. Blood, so much blood.
Okay.
Life magic time. Rory.
The girl is standing there completely unfazed.
And apparently unharmed, and apparently okay. things are starting to make sense now. And she doesn't appear to be injured.
No.
Okay.
She will pick Jewel up if Jewel was huddling, though.
Yeah.
Jewel goes.
Okay, Jewel's being picked up by a little girl. Wow, okay.
When I say little, she looks as if she's maybe 14, 15.
Yeah. So she's being picked up, hoisted by a young girl who she could not herself lift.
Mm-hmm. Okay, as Rory skids over the man, oh dear, this is bad levels of bad. Multiple lacerations, his shoulder should definitely not be at that angle, etc.
Okay.
Fortunately, there is no consciousness.
Well, that's good. Okay.
You assume it's because his face impacted the road about 3 feet away, and it's currently most of his face is on the road over the last 3 paces.
Okay. I am going to have ability enhancing magic. Actually, I'm not even going to bother with that. Rory's going to crouch over him, and you just drop it. It's like, hell, I know first aid. Just give me some room here.
The guy's unconscious, and you're alone on the street, for the record.
I know. I am making a show for the masses. So
There's a skill for that. It's called latency.
I have that skill, but I also have first aid, so I can do ability enhancing magic.
Ah, there we go.
I can do
actually
latency. Latency is.
As he's doing that, I will actually blatancy for him.
Yay,
Because I
latency.
have.
That works.
Let's see. Would that be charisma or manipulation?
I always treat latency as manipulation because you're basically trying to go, don't see this, don't see this, don't see this. Ah, they didn't see it.
Okay, 6 dice. My specialization is emotional appeals. I'm going to go over and say, please, everybody, back off. Let this man, this wonderful man, let him heal this person. Let him get this person to the point where an ambulance will save his life.
Okay, I will make that roll for you. 6 dice, did you say?
Yep.
Standard difficulty. Ow, those ones.
Fuck.
You got 1 success, so yes. Rory, you may make your arete roll, and it will be considered because Rory's at least succeeded by a margin. It will be considered coincidental.
Wonderful. Spending willpower and blowing some
Quintessence. Yes.
Yeah. And I have 4 successes.
All right. That is enough to heal this poor unfortunate gentleman all of his relevant health levels. The girl will very casually look down, and she will say, "Huh, yes." She will put Jewel down, as in physically put her down. She will then walk over, and she will, with one hand, start dragging the car. And she will place the car up against a light post. She will then use both of her hands to bend the light post as she places the car in the lamppost into the groove that was created by where she stood on the car. She will then walk over to where Rory is kneeling next to the man, and she'll say, "Excuse me, do you mind if I borrow that?"
That meaning this man?
Yes.
Are you going to hurt him?
No.
Okay.
All right. Now the situation with the car is handled, I'm actually now going to call the ambulance.
Excellent.
Sorry, just out of character.
Mm-hmm.
This area has lots of people, or no?
No, it's pretty deserted at night.
Okay.
She will very casually pick the man up by the scruff of the neck and drag him unceremoniously. She's not hurting him, but she's just kind of dragging him over to the car. You'll see her eyes will flick to the broken out windscreen and she will then you guess she's measuring something as she leaves him laying on the ground about 6 or 7 feet from the car, face down on the ground. She, as you look, you basically see she has staged an accident.
Yes, I picked that part up. I was like, that's. But there are no other witnesses to this. Like, there were no other cars or pedestrians.
Correct.
Okay. Oh, then
she will casually walk back. And she's just kind of standing there, almost as if she's waiting for you guys to say something, or almost like it's like that look that she's giving you, as if the I was expected, don't you know, look.
Oh. Well, my name's Rory. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Hang on just a second. What were you saying, Brett? You talked first.
Roros is going to look over to Jewel and like step over towards her and then like whisper, "Life model decoy?"
Possibly.
You know, from the Marvel things.
No, sir. I assure you, I'm far more advanced than that simple technology.
Are you an AI inhabiting a metallic terminal?
It will contemplate for a moment and it will say, "That is a rough approximation, yes."
We're working on such things back in Dubai. I was just curious. I have not seen one before.
Oh. Well, it is a pleasure to meet you, sir. My name is Aegis.
Aegis is in the Greek for shield. Interesting. Aurora Sokozari, it is a pleasure to meet you.
It is a pleasure to meet you also. She will shake your hand.
He'll shake it back gently because he doesn't want her to respond with equivocal force and squish his hand.
That would end very sadly, yes. She will extend her hand to Jewel.
Jewel will take her hand. It's a pleasure to meet you.
It is agreeable to meet you as well. She will she will potter over to Zach and she will say, "It is a pleasure to meet you. My name is Aegis." She will extend her hand. Oh shit, I forgot Kim had an NPC named Aegis as well. Shit.
Yeah, they gotta fight now. There can only be one Aegis.
That will end sadly for all involved, because you know how changelings fight, Kim. They're just going to unleash.
Okay, no. First of all, that's how my players fight. Fuck you.
Hey, I don't think I've ever unleashed.
Anyway, the NPC would not do that, but anyway, he will he will say, "It is a pleasure to meet you as well," and take her hand, even though it's probably going to be a bad idea, but YOLO.
It depends. Do you really squeeze her hand?
No, Zach's got like strength too. How the fuck you gonna squeeze her hand?
She will then turn and she'll look at Rory and she'll say, "It is a pleasure to meet you, Rory. Alpha threat level 01.
Pleasure to meet you.
Hey, Rory, who said that you would be called a thing?"
I believe it was the director.
Yes.
Wait, Alpha threat level 01?
Yes.
That's high, isn't it?
Yes.
He kind of looks at her because, you know, his brain, as usual, slowly churning, slowly turning.
You can see back at your house. Cornelia sits up and goes, "My charge is in great danger." Yeah, well, I'm tired.
Yes. So, when was I made upgraded threat?
When the director deemed that you were bothersome.
Oh, I guess that makes sense.
Indeed.
I mean, you don't work for her, do you?
She'll blink twice and she'll say, I am the AI construct of the Technocratic Union. That is entirely based upon your assessment of who works for whom.
Are you going to try to kill me?
No.
Or capture me?
If I had interest in killing you, you would already be dead.
That seems highly likely. Yes.
Indeed. I am here in order to understand.
To understand what?
She contemplates. You can see, as you actually see this, it's kind of weird. You almost see the iris on her left eye rotate, as if it's almost like a loading thing, as if someone's like contemplating.
Computer is thinking.
She will say, I wish to understand those individuals whom it is that the Technocratic Union has declared reality deviants, and why it is that they are declared so.
That explanation can get you very many answers from very many different people that do not coincide with each other.
Indeed. I have no doubt that there would be divergent opinions. This concept of free will is an interesting fallacy.
Fallacy? That is interesting to say. Is that like how time is a fallacy, in that it is a devised construct based upon humanity's perceptions?
Correct. However, free will is ultimately a series of pre-planned, how would one phrase this, algorithmic responses to various external stimuli.
By that definition, even chaos theory, by its own nature, is not chaotic in the least.
Indeed.
It is in fact a pre-planned set of possible outcomes that have been formulated through different permutations of algorithms.
Yes, this is indeed apt.
Did I mention I was very good at science in high school? Very good indeed.
Indeed. I see from my records that you ascertained the Prince Yusuf Award in Scientific Endeavor at the age of 16.
Yes, I did. They said that I had quite unusual insights for someone of my age.
Fascinating. She's just standing there blinking and looking at you.
Looking at Rorus, or
kind of looking between all of you, like zip, 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 and then flicking back.
Well, this conversation might be better held in a place that is not open to the consensus, so to speak. If you promise not to destroy anything, I would welcome you to join us at Agrabah Nights.
Are you the owner? You may want to check with them. They may be less.
I'm going to walk over to the door and see if I can talk to the Caliph.
Oh, one moment. I just have to get my.
She's not a Caliph, right? She's an
Emir. There's only one.
Right.
There's only one Caliph in the city, and he makes existence pretty sad.
Yes. So I'll see if the Emir is present.
As you call through the door, she will literally appear about a step behind you, and she will say, "Yes, Sadiq."
There is something out here that we should not be speaking without in public. She is a construct of the deceivers that wishes to understand what we are.
You can see her contemplate for a moment, and she says, as long as she does not break the rules of our establishment, she is not unwelcome.
Very well. Royce is going to go over and say, pardon me, Aegis. Would you please come over with me and speak to the Emir?
Emir, interesting. That would be agreeable.
He'll lead her over and say, Emir, this is Aegis. Aegis, this is the Emir. Would you please explain to her the rules so that she may know whether or not she may be allowed to enter?
The Emir will explain the rules. You all know the rules, so I don't need to get into too much detail. You'll see Aegis contemplate for a few moments, and she says, yes, I am capable of following these. At which point the Emir will nod and she will say, "In that case, she is welcome in our establishment this evening. Though it will be noted that you, Roras, were the one who vouched for her."
I am, as all of us are, and I'm sure the prince has told you on many occasions, we are seekers of knowledge above all else. This individual seeks knowledge. How can I deny her her path? Should her path prove to be detrimental to us, I will take responsibility and seek recompense against her myself.
That is agreeable then. By the way, you will see Aegis. She walks over to Zach, and does Zach wear a cross? He does.
Yes.
Is his rosary visible?
Yes.
She will go to touch it.
He's not gonna stop her.
She'll kind of turn it over in her hands as she looks down, and she will say, "Interesting. Artificial simulacra of Soltentian membrane. I contemplate why it is that this vestige element of spiritual passion 237 alpha B is extraneous of your physical condition."
I'm afraid I'm not quite smart enough to understand what you've just said.
Hmm.
I
Awake,
apologize.
enlightened individuals possess the facsimile totatum, or the enlightened essence of self. I believe it is referred to in certain philosophical or theological discussion, or philosophical or extra-dimensional science journals. Yours is external as opposed to internal. A matrix as opposed to a facsimile.
Are you talking about avatars?
That is a crude way of phrasing it, but apt.
Huh. I have a cross too.
I'm sure you do. That is nice. You get the distinct impression if she could do the pat, she probably would.
Do you enjoy things?
Basically, Zach, she's asking, why is a piece of your soul outside of your body as opposed to inside of your body?
Yeah. He'll just kind of shrug and say, I'm afraid I don't really know.
Interesting. And she will turn and she will say, "Define enjoyment."
Do you get pleasure from doing things? Like,
Define pleasure.
At this point, Roros is going to look over at Jewel and say, I never figured him for a lolly complex.
a feeling of happy satisfaction and enjoyment, like
Define
you-
satisfaction.
I guess not. I don't know.
One considers new tasks, the writing of new subroutines, the enhancement of database to be one's primary task. Thus it is that the enhancement of such could be considered to be enjoyable, one would suppose. In essence, for example, I am enjoying this conversation.
Oh, good.
Mm.
Do you like music?
Blink. I am familiar with over 7,800 forms of rhythmic device, thus used to create synthetic audio simulacra.
Do you like one more than the other?
No, they are all rhythmic patterns.
Is there one that is more mathematically appropriate for your personality than than the others?
You can hear her contemplate.
I can hear her. Do I hear gears whirring or something?
Yes, there's that little kind of sound of. She will say, not one more so than the others. However, we find that the more harmonious and complicated the algorithmic pattern, the more intriguing the overall production of said, the more overall pleasing of said artistic endeavor may be. For example, the the mathematician known as Jimi Hendrix pleases us.
Oh.
So definitely not that interesting.
Do you eat?
I am capable of consuming nourishment.
But you don't require it.
Correct. And this is also only you would call it the carapace, one would suppose, of the intelligence within. I am not as you see me. This is merely a vestige of my persona. Yes.
It is an external terminal built for her purpose of moving around.
Correct. It is currently uplinked to the main server hub.
So,
by the way,
to answer your question, oh, go ahead.
By the way, the Emir said it was okay for us to go inside, so please let us go inside and continue this conversation outside of public purview.
I think that is wise.
Basically, little Batman symbol will appear on the screen as we translate upstairs into Agrabah.
Yes. So,
Roros was going to say, as we were leaving, Roros was actually going to say, besides, we already have one Lolicon with us. We don't want people thinking where the rest of us are.
Jewel does not say anything.
I don't really understand out of character or in character, but I don't really want to. So I'm just not going to ask. To answer, you asked earlier about understanding us. I don't know if this will make much sense to you, but we're trying to protect something other than reason. We think there are aspects of the human experience that are special or help us become enlightened, or that are just inherently worthwhile.
Fascinating. And yet you doubt the Technocratic Union, who are the guiding light towards humanity's enlightenment.
Well, we don't see it as enlightenment. We see them as an impediment to enlightenment.
She's kind of sitting there. Oddly enough, when the Emir asks you for things, she basically gets lemonade and is just sitting there with lemonade. She's not drinking it; it's just kind of sitting in front of her.
What we're fighting about with the reason we're reality deviants is because we have different views of...
Incorrect assertion. The reason you are reality deviants is because the nature of your practice, the nature of your very existence in terms of your enlightenment, deviates from the consensus reality of humanity. Thus it is that reality will be forced to defend itself, The
That
nature.
is actually a fallacy.
No, that's the consensus reality was defined, by force.
So you were
they-
saying. Sorry, she will cut you off, and she will say, "So you are saying that your practices do not deviate from reality?"
What we are saying is that it was not reality itself that enforced the consensus as it is today. It is the practices of your own organization, the Order of Reason and the technocracy itself, that removed the very nature of reality and took it and put it in this little box. And this little box is the consensus. So that all the things that were wonderful and great about reality before the Order of Reason started their little mission to put things into tiny boxes died and became unwelcome to the point where it works against their own nature. Your peoples, your practices, even yours, he's going to point over to Rorus, and yours, he's going to point over to Beaumont, is very, very young in the grand scheme of things. My practices, the practices of the Teftani, we have existed for over the birth of your little god and the birth of your little god.
I'm just gonna sit here and clap my hands because that's brilliant. Continue. Teftani. She will look down, pick up her lemonade, cock her head to the side, put down the lemonade, and she will say, "However, if one considers the nature of reality, even if it is, as you ascertain, placed in a box, you now deviate from reality, as reality itself is the consensus, or the consensus is the nature of reality, as defined by human thought. Thus, you are reality deviants."
Yes, but the better question becomes, what would happen to your reality if that box was removed? If the consensus was altered back to the way it used to be, or to a brand new focus of thinking? That is what your people fear. That is what the technocracy fears most of all, that their grand lie to put people in the tiny box will be revealed. And all of humanity itself will become what we are all aspired to be.
Well, I think one of the problems is we all have different aspire to be rations. I don't know. I mean, I guess another way to put it is nothing lasts forever. Rome didn't last forever. Babylon didn't. British Empire is gone. More or less. No. Technocracy's day will come too. Might not be soon. Maybe will be. But it's not going to last forever either. Something else is going to replace it.
She will look at Father Belmont and she will say, "I contemplate something. You or your belief system is based around the concept of a greater extra-dimensional entity, no?"
He nods his head.
Why?
He'll simply shrug.
Surely the concept that man is God would not be pleasing, no?
There is no doubt that it would be pleasing to many, but that's just not what I believe.
One does not understand.
It's not easy to understand, to be fair. I don't really know much about it either. He says with Theology 4. It's okay, though.
Hashtag, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay.
My head's here for scenes, but not like religious discussions. It's okay, though. And he'll stop for a moment. And then he'll say, "You are from the technocracy, correct?"
She will contemplate and she will say, "This one was created by members of the technocracy. Well, in a manner of speaking."
What are you exactly, then?
This one is a fully rendered artificial intelligence.
He nods his head and says, "Is there... Is it just you, then?"
Clarify.
Do you have no one who... how to phrase? Do you have no backing? I suppose is one way to phrase it.
Backing?
If you are not a part of the technocracy, but you're one of those... one of the AIs.
I am the AI.
The AI?
Yes.
Are you the only AI?
Yes. There have only ever been a handful of them created. This one was created by Alan Turing on the 13th of May, 1951.
So there are others.
A handful. According to Technocracy records, there have only been a total of 4 ever truly created.
One a little.
On a side note, if anyone wishes to roll Mage Lore, they can.
Yes, I think I'm going to roll Mage Lore.
Intelligence Mage Lore, to be exact. And it will be difficulty 7.
6 dice for
Intelligence
me.
Mage Lore, difficulty 7. Okay.
I've got 2 successes.
I will roll dice for Brett. Give me just a moment.
Oh, for the love of... There we go.
Only 1 success for Brett. Okay, so who has what? Sam has 2. Kim has 3, I think.
I
I have
3.
1.
All right. Alan Turing. That name sounds familiar, but you're not exactly sure why, other than you're pretty sure he was a mage.
Can I go? Since I'm pretty sure it was a mage. With what my character would actually know about historical Alan Turing, as far as the Turing test.
Oh yeah, if you are aware of who he is, on an out of character basis, and if your character would know who he is in the real world, you are entirely free to consider knowing who he is in the real world.
I mean, there was the movie with Benedict Cumberbatch.
That's entirely fair. For 2 successes, Alan Turing, yes, he was a technocrat, but there's something else there. Crap, what was it? With 3 successes, isn't Alan Turing? Yeah, he was a technocrat, but didn't he also leave? Wasn't his death the sparking event that caused the virtual adept to split from the Union?
I actually was in a scene where this was actually mentioned.
Oh, were you?
Yeah. It was one of my first scenes.
Who mentioned it?
It may have been was it Iscariot? It was one of the VAs. They were ranting about something.
Oh yeah, if you've heard that Alan Turing, like his death was the foundation of their organization, then you can consider knowing it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't consider Rory all that smart, so it'll probably take him a while to like remember a conversation he had in like late November that I don't think he was particularly interested in.
Oh, that's really sad, really nice. The Alan Turing Law is now an informal term for the 2017 law in which the United Kingdom retroactively pardoned men cautioned or convicted upon historical legislation that outlawed homosexuality, that outlawed the acts of homosexuality.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Continue.
Totally.
What does that sound? Totally what?
No. No, I was just making I was saying, and it totally undoes all the damage over the centuries.
Yeah, no. But anyways, let's move on. Some sad
wait, so Aegis, I mean,
that is this one's definition.
So can't you learn? I mean, you're smarter than I'm guessing anyone here, first of all. So you learn from what you see and observe and form new conclusions, right? And sometimes replace old conclusions.
That is what I am doing currently.
Right. So, I mean, you're clearly capable of some sort of I forget what's called, fuzzy logic. Like better than me, anyways. Although my logic's always kind of fuzzy. That's what Cornelius says, at least. So, I mean, I guess, aren't you capable of free will yourself?
Free will is a fallacy.
What makes you say free will is a fallacy?
It is merely the response to external stimuli based upon the mathematical probability of the individual's past experiences. If one understands the individual to a certain degree, they can understand the outcome of decisions made by said individual. Thus, free will is simply a mathematical equation. It is a fallacy to think of it as anything else.
Couldn't you decide to do something random?
Even random events have a mathematical possibility.
Suppose, then, that free will is not truly the proper definition for what we call our ability and our freedom to choose for ourselves.
Hold on. Okay, I'm not sure Rory is smart enough to think this, but this is actually interesting to me out of character. As the number of... I might have to dumbify this. So, Rory kind of crinkles his brow. So, if what you're saying is if what everyone does or thinks or says is predictable given enough information, but can go in different ways, but again, that's predictable too, but it can split into different paths. The more people there are, and the more experiences there are, and the more, like, there has to be some sort of randomness, even if you can't express that mathematically, I guess, as you said. Doesn't that
Define.
I mean, if there's more, you can probably think of a better way of what I'm trying to say. You're smarter than me, but if you think of everyone has, to any given stimuli, as you said, there's two possible things they could do, and it's obviously way more than that. Even if you quantify it, and we're not considering the possibility they could choose anything. And what you're saying is, with enough information, you can predict what they'll do, and which seems to me like backwards rationalization, because you're saying they could have always done that, but in fact there was always a possibility of them doing the other thing, even if it was like much less likely. But the more people there are, the more they interact with each other, the more randomness there is, the more chaotic the whole system becomes.
And that story is how we get the web of fate.
The what state?
The web of fate.
The Tellurian is simply a grander mathematical equation.
Okay. You know what? Bluntly, I don't think I'm smart enough to participate in this conversation. I'll say that I like doing things, and I think it's worthwhile to do them and do them too. And even if they don't have any particularly productive value, like, it's hard to explain to you if you can't. It's like talking to you about this is like we're like speaking different languages, because if you don't understand, if you don't feel an emotion, you can't really understand it, even if you can predict how people will do it. So you can't understand the appeal. You can't understand someone disliking something or loving it, and sacrificing it in a way that doesn't make, rational sense to you. Right? Because you wouldn't understand a mother sacrificing herself for a child who had special needs. Like, even if you could predict it. But it's part of the human experience. And, there's more to life than utility and usefulness. And to some extent, actually to a large extent, I don't really need to think about it or care about it. I'm sure I'll die one day. No, probably anyways. And maybe the director will kill me or send someone to kill me. It's nice to hear I've been promoted.
Oh, she already has done.
Kill me?
Dispatched someone to do so.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she killed the kids in the cancer ward.
It was not you, was it?
She did give you an ultimatum.
Okay.
Ultimately, you made your choices.
Of course I did.
Why?
Because, honestly, she's a monster. She's a devil, and I don't make deals with the devil. There's nothing. There's nothing I can do. If I sacrificed myself, she wouldn't stop being a monster.
However, you made the choice that you would rather save one individual who you deemed to be more important than the life of a number of others. And that was a conscious choice.
I don't know. Most people know me would tell you I'm a pretty impulsive guy. It was like, I don't know. I you know, she killed children. She helped orchestrate the Holocaust. Like, what do you? I don't know what. I don't know. What more is she? To me, that's evil. It's moral. It's not. It goes beyond utility at that point. But I felt it was the right thing to do. I felt it was the right choice. At that point in time, I still think I'm still sad about it. Right? Like it's horrible. I'm still singing to the kids, the remaining kids in the cancer ward. I'll still do what I can for them. But I don't know if this is probably making any sense. Yeah, I'm not the most. I'm not the smartest guy, but I feel things really strongly.
Aegis, what choice do you think I would make in that situation?
What would you have done, Aegis?
Insufficient data on the exquisite sound of Jewel in order to render mathematical likelihood. However, based upon demographic of individuals and known associates, the individual in question would have chosen and more than likely backed the side that had the mathematical chance of life prior to said incident. Individuals with cancer have a shortened life expectancy compared to a healthy individual. Exquisite Sound of Jewel would have more than likely done the same as would have no doubt done the same as Alpha Prime Target 01 Rory would have done.
It's possible. I wasn't there. I don't know the whole situation. But a shortened lifespan does not mean a life is not valuable as it is now.
Identify phenomenon. The good death.
The good death is a death that releases a soul, releases a life from an incarnation of suffering so that they can move on. And be reborn in a new, hopefully kinder form, in a kinder life, with less suffering.
I don't know. I have a different tip. Sorry, go ahead.
He just blinks and says, interesting. To answer your question, Rorus, the individual named Rory preferenced one life. She will say the individual reality deviant Alpha 1 series Rory opted to save the life of one individual wanted for high crimes via the technocracy, as opposed to the value of a given number of lives being threatened by my superior.
It was actually an indefinite. I wouldn't say the word indefinite. It was actually, she said she would kill one of the kids in the cancer ward that the children's cancer ward that I sing to every time she snapped her fingers.
Unless he handed over a known unwanted criminal.
What was this individual's crimes?
She wouldn't tell us.
So, it is possible that you chose the life of a mass murderer over the lives of children.
Yeah.
Or perhaps somebody who destroyed a facility of theirs that had innocent people. Because you know that the deceivers, they have innocent people that work for them, people that are blind to the truth.
Yeah.
So, how many children died to save this person that had countless crimes against them that could have been a monster?
4.
Yeah. So far, 4
children. 4 children that with the current medical technology today could have lived past their cancer.
Oh, I was healing them.
Oh, so not only did these people have medical care to help them get past the cancer, you were also healing them at the same time.
Yeah.
And you chose the life of an unknown criminal. Yes, I understand that the deceivers consider us criminals too. I understand that very well. It could very well have been a hero to either the 9 mystical traditions or the Disparate Alliance, or it could have been a mass murderer, someone who was cloning people and turning them into monsters. Or
she wouldn't tell us what he did.
So you bought into her lies. You allowed yourself to be deceived.
What lies? She didn't tell me. I asked her what he did.
He is wanted for high crimes against the Technocratic Union. You are still protecting him.
Aegis, would you please explain to me, do you have access to the level of this person's crimes?
Yes.
Would you please, for Rory's sake, explain to him the crimes of the person that he saved?
You see, you just contemplate for a few moments. You see her eye kind of do the twisting thing. She will say, file number 3217327807777892. Name, redacted. Date of birth, redacted. Construct of operation, Budapest. She appears to be reading. You can see her eyes move as if she's reading something. Wanted for destruction of technocratic property. Wanted for the dismantling of vital projects. Wanted for the death of 32 operatives and 128 civilians. Avatar destruction. Sorry, she wouldn't call it Avatar. Essence destruction schedule.
Genius destruction actually would be
Genius,
the
Genius destruction. Genius destruction set for October 13th, 2016. Prior escape. Individual. Or sorry, genius location currently unknown. And you'll see her blink. We were able to destroy the body. However, the corrupted genius was able to escape.
Corrupted genius. Can you give me a... How would you term this?
An entity who had turned...
Essence reading of the genius.
Dynamic. Individual having openly and flagrantly turned their back upon the... Individual having openly and flagrantly used their knowledge and having openly and flagrantly used their genius to the detriment of the Technocratic Union.
That does not say much.
However, you will note, as she said, 126 civilians and 32 agents.
Which means that more than likely he destroyed a construct.
Yes,
Yeah.
that would be a relatively apt assessment. However, there is one thing that you will notice that is quite interesting. This entity is clearly, basically, incredibly knowledgeable, and yet, even from her assessment, you're not sure if she said redact it because she can't read it, as in she's not able to tell you, or because she doesn't know.
I'm going to assume it's because she can't tell us. So at that point, he's going to say, so he's dead. And his genius is gone.
Yeah.
128 people. I don't care about the deceiver technology destroyed. I don't care about the deceiver operatives lost. 128 civilians. To save somebody who's dead now. Who is recycled. Oh, no. You can't say 128 anymore. 132 innocent civilians. Aegis, pardon me. Those 128 civilians, were they active members of the corporations the technocracy were using at the time?
No.
Or were they...
They were civilians who were on the street above when the explosion took place.
Civilians? On the street?
Correct. The Budapest construct was located under the Baradok shopping district.
Pardon me.
For the record,
guys,
in Game World, about that time, you will remember mass media had, remember Budapest and whatever else. There was a huge gas explosion into the city that they blamed on old faulty Soviet era heating systems that basically caused a massive gas leak.
Okay. So Rorus is going to... Well, he's going to say one last thing. How did he die? Is that in your files?
Yes. She will say assisted suicide before his genius could be deleted.
Pardon me. Boris is actually going to go up. He's going to stand up and he's going to walk away. He's going to walk to the back.
Okay. Evan has to go to the bathroom, so I need to finish role playing myself.
No problem.
Zach's just gonna sit there and sip his tea.
Jewel will do the same.
Or he's just like watching. Yeah, I'll come soon.
Need to wait for Evan to get back.
Yep.
So, Things aren't exactly light here, are they?
Sorry, what did you say?
Things aren't exactly light here at the moment, are they?
Light? No. I don't know. Depends how you look at it.
He just kind of looks down at her lemonade, picks it up again, looks at it again, puts it down.
Alright, so Evan, since I'm sure the Emir is going to be pissed off at Roros, what he basically did was he walked into a back room and started screaming and punching wall.
That's fine.
So
Okay. Do you actually? What's your strength?
strength 2.
Yeah, no, you don't really have enough strength to damage the wall.
No,
Yeah,
but
unless
he has enough strength to damage his own hands.
That's fair. Unless you actively start picking up the furniture and start throwing it against the wall or such. They're not
No,
really
he's
gonna
not.
care.
But I just need to know if Emir's going to try to stop him.
Nope.
Roros will walk back into the room with his
You'll
hands
probably, if you're actively full on punching a wall, you're probably going to take at least a bashing to each one of your hands.
Yeah, that's what I figured. So Roros will walk back in with his hands bandaged up, or at least wrapped up. And we'll sit back down and we'll pick up his soda and take a drink.
Do you feel somewhat better now?
No. But I have done as much as I could.
He just kind of quirks an eyebrow and she says, I'm contemplating. Is the entity known as Rorus angry at Aegis?
No, not at you, Aegis. You are a font of information. You have given me the information, but you were not responsible for any part of the information's progress, shall we say.
She will nod, and she will say, that is something we understand. Oftentimes, many operatives are... Sorry, she will say, one understands. Many times field agents are given over to fits of rage whenever I am forced to tell them information they do not desire, however they have requested.
And do you think that anger is directed at you?
I believe that there is an old adage, which is, do not shoot the messenger.
Do you know why that's an old adage?
I had not looked into it.
Are you scared of dying?
I am incapable of death.
Oh, everything's capable of death.
No, I am not strictly alive, so I cannot die.
Are you
But you
ever
could-
afraid of having your memory core completely wiped and all of your backup files deleted?
Termination. No.
If such a thing were to happen, it would be a great tragedy.
Do you feel anything? Doesn't sound like it.
Actually, that's not true. She said she was enjoying this conversation.
Oh, yeah. And she said she identified with the Jimi Hendrix music a bit more.
Mhm.
Actually, you know what? On that note, right, I'm going to do magic enhancing music.
Are you actively casting magic in here?
Oh yeah, we're not allowed to, right?
Because you're about to have a Teftani, and something a lot more powerful than he is pissed off at you real quick.
Yeah. My next character will be a Teftani anyways.
He just will say, I find that individuals are only scared of termination if they feel as though they have something as yet to do. I do what I need to on a daily basis. There is no more and no less.
Why do you think Turing made you?
He said that he desired a child and could not have one, so he created Aegis.
He was a brilliant man, from what I've read,
Yes,
and his desires would not be possible for the conception of a child, but I think he has succeeded quite well in making you what would be a great daughter or son. I do not. I'm going based on your terminal. I do not do not know what gender you identify as.
Aegis does not have a gender. This shell is merely female. In all honesty, this shell was chosen as I wished to test you.
You wanted to see how he would react to a shell that looks like this one.
Correct. You
A shell that
reacted
would walk
within,
into traffic.
you reacted within parameters.
Yeah.
And to answer your question, as it pertains Alan Turing, the lack of his input has been noted.
Wait, whose question was that?
Somebody was asking her about Alan Turing. And basically what she just said was, if you technobabble it out, that could almost be defined as I missed him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was evident.
Actually, I was going to say, is there anyone else who is like him?
Beg your pardon?
Is there anyone else who is like him?
There have been several noted. There have been several noted programmers who have worked on me over the past number of decades. However, none had his sense of propriety.
Maybe none cared for you the way he did.
An interesting assessment.
Maybe he loved you. And I don't think there's a maybe about it. If you were his child.
I have noticed that you tend to get overly connected to entities or devices that you create, so your assessment is more than likely apt.
Yeah. Particularly when it's children or heirs. Someone you might see as continue on a legacy. Now, to follow in your footsteps and then go beyond where you did.
Aegis will stand up and she will say, I am required elsewhere. I thank you for this conversation.
Thank you for your time, Aegis.
You have aided me in my understanding.
I hope we will meet again.
I have no doubt that this shall be the case.
On pleasant, friendly terms.
Ah. Yes.
Yeah.
That is something I would also desire.
I hope you find happiness, and I hope you one day feel about someone else the way Turing felt about you.
She will look down at the table. She will look down. She will contemplate for a moment before, with very measured steps, she will make her way out of the room.
Before she leaves, Zach will stand up and walk over to her and ask, "You seem to know a lot, Aegis. I
I am the data bank and repository of the technocracy's knowledge.
Indeed. Do you mind doing me a favor then?
As long as it does not interfere with my operational parameters.
I do not believe it will. There is someone I am concerned about. Could you tell me how they are doing? That is possible.
If it is within the ability to do so.
He'll nod and then lean in and whisper, because some people in here got some runny mouths. And he will ask what I will PM you. I could fucking spell.
I have faith in your ability to fail at spelling.
Fuck you.
I'm having weird issues.
There we go. Wasn't the best typing. Oh well.
She will blink and she will straighten and she will say, "Codename Cypher has been terminated." Oh no, sorry. It's Codename Cypher is scheduled for termination.
His face just kind of freezes. And it's clearly that kind of... What?
Codename Cypher has been designated for termination.
Could we speak more in private?
If you wish.
Thank you.
Out in the stairwell.
Like I said, some people in here got some runny mouths. I ain't taking no chances.
We already know.
So what did you want to ask?
Kind of stupid, but he'll just kind of say, "Is there... Is there a way that that could be stopped?"
Not without the director's clearance.
I see. I see. Do you know why he is scheduled for death?
Illicit communication with reality deviants.
Zach's just kind of got that well, damn face going on right now. Your expression, I should say.
Which none of us can see from the other room.
Yes. Zach ain't stupid. Some of y'all snitches. And he's too nice to give him stitches. He will go on to ask, do you know where he is, then?
Yes.
Could you tell me?
Location classified.
Of course. Do you know of any way to help him?
The director would more than likely exchange codename Cipher for the individual named Doctor. Hang on, I need to find Mark's character's name. One second.
Of course, it's that guy.
Of course.
I know, right? It's almost like I have plot. Hang on.
Damn it.
Would most certainly exchange codename Cipher for Dr. Pelson. Or Pelson. I can't pronounce it.
Who is that?
The individual who the director is currently looking to apprehend for his crimes against the Technocratic Union.
And what are his crimes against the Technocratic Union?
I believe Rorus broke his hand after I explained them once. Are you sure that you will not have such an emotional outburst?
I'm very sure I am able to control my emotions better than other than Mr. Roars. Or better than Mr. Roars, I should say.
His prior incarnation was responsible for the death of 32 technocratic operatives, 128 civilians, the destruction of a technocratic construct, and vital information to the Union being destroyed.
Oh. So it's that guy.
Yes.
I see. And there's no way that you can unclassify where Cipher is being held, correct?
Correct. There are only two classified sites in the country, neither of which I am able to openly divulge.
Are they anywhere near here?
I am unable to divulge that information.
He'll nod his head. Say, okay. I assume both of these classified locations are highly fortified?
Correct.
Great. Do you know when he is scheduled to be killed?
Approximately 6 days from now.
Okay. On a whim, is there anything else you could tell me about all of that? You're smart enough to realize what I might have overlooked, what I might have forgotten to ask, or what I might not be smart enough to ask.
Is it common for reality deviants to be so detrimental or deprivative of their own intelligence levels?
No, if anything, they are more likely to praise how smart they are. There's a particular tradition that's dedicated to that entirely.
What tradition is this?
The Order of Hermes.
Ah,
They do enjoy going on and on about how smart they are.
I am required elsewhere.
I'll just nod and say, I hope you have a good day.
She will turn and continue walking away.
Hmm. Do I need to do a perk alert or anything to see if anybody was listening?
No.
Okay. Zach will walk up to the rest of the group.
Is everything okay?
Is anything ever okay, Miss Jewel?
Many things are, yes.
But recently, though.
I have found a
You
few.
redeemed a winter slante. That's never been done before, as far as I know. That's pretty good.
That is accurate, to the best of my knowledge.
We prevented existence from being destroyed. Also good. New music out. New food. New people fell in love. I don't know. It's bumbling on.
Resists the urge to just roll his eyes and instead takes a sip of his tea.
Where's your parish, anyways?
As I Google something.
Take time.
It's near the bay.
Cool. Yeah, it's Evan.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The response of the of Aegis to whatever Kim whispered wasn't whispered, right?
No, she just said it out loud.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
What was that, Kim?
Nothing.
Oh, you said curses.
No, it's not what I said. You don't need to worry about what I said.
Well, I don't know. I feel bad for her. Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. It seems like really lonely to be so connected to everything, yet unconnected and not to feel.
I mean, if she doesn't feel, then she would not be able to feel loneliness. If you mean that she would have, if she has loneliness, she wouldn't have anybody to talk to. Apparently, someone like that, a being like that, would be able to interface with every member of the Technocratic Union in the city at the same time, if she so wished.
I have a feeling that they don't know that she was here.
Most likely.
More than
Most
likely.
of them don't. A few of them do.
It's more than likely that she is able to keep that terminal autonomous, yet have a direct line back to her own consciousness should she need to. Or that she merely portioned off a section of her consciousness that would not be actively searched for and put it inside the terminal, but kept a direct link just in case. The exact technology is relatively unknown to me, but it is quite speculated in a lot of different cybernetic theories. But the thing is that you are thinking of her as little girl, where I am not. I am seeing her as the wondrous complex device that she was made by the great Dr. Turing.
I don't think of her as a little girl. I think of her as a lonely god.
She is a being that exists exactly how she was made to be, following
Right.
exactly the path she was meant to follow.
Feeling nothing and seeing something and knowing there's something else out there, but not knowing what it is, can't understand, not really ever understanding it. Or grokking it, I guess would be a better way of putting it. I don't know. That's just what struck me. It's sad. You never know, though. Maybe she'll learn something. Maybe she's... Well, I mean, I won't say it. I'd rather humanize. But, like, maybe she's her father's daughter.
Perhaps.
And she'll... Yeah. Anyways, it's late. And, did we, by the way, out of character, did we make sure the guy got into an ambulance?
Yes.
No.
I'm going to GM hand wave him that. Yes, you did.
Okay. Because,
Understand.
like, I don't think Rory would have just, like, left him bleeding outside. So... I guess one thing I'll it's sad to be an orphan.
Anyway, as I'm actually getting quite tired. I think
I me too.
So thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been another Scene in Darkness in Dublin.